Good evening, fans all across the world, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV with your boy Dave, hosting the pre-match pump-up today. Not your usual Jacob with his long, luscious locks, unfortunately, so I do apologise to anyone that was expecting Jacob to be hosting, but it is your boy Dave today, so hopefully you enjoy yourselves. And look, those of you travelling to the game, get there safe. Those of you travelling home, welcome in, and make sure you get home on time for kickoff. But of course, it is a big European night tonight, Europa League. I think if we beat AZ Alkmaar, we should qualify, out of this league phase, But ultimately, we want to keep the run going after that so we can get out in the first 8 and avoid 2 games in around January and February time. But it is a step up in opponent today. Ferencváros, Karabag, expected to win. Tonight is a step up in opponent, but still winnable. I guess, Kate, the lineups are out very, very shortly. So I guess the question to you is, with it being a tougher opponent tonight, do you think Postecoglou will continue to make the 6 or 7 changes we've seen against Ferencváros and Karabag? And how are you? Excited about tonight's game?
Big up, Dave. Big up, Jose, Jimbo, and everyone in the chat. Make sure you're smashing a like. Of course, I'm excited. European night, it's always exciting. Very difficult, I think, to predict the team he's going to put out tonight. For instance, I was thinking Solanke. Then, as you rightly said on your video, Dave, Richie's back tonight. So will he start Richie? It's a tough one. I always think it's a sort of difficult decision for Ange Postecoglou, because if he does happen to get it wrong, he's going to be opening himself up to a lot of criticism. But we need to rotate because it's a long season with all these different competitions. So it'd be interesting to see what changes he makes. But I'm buzzing, and I think we should have enough to put these ones to bed, hopefully.
You think we're going to make it 7 wins in 8 games if we win tonight?
I think so, for sure.
Hopefully keep these good times rolling. That's where we want to get to as Tottenham. That's what we always moan about. This is where we want to be. So hopefully we can continue this consistency. Jimbo, down to you, my man. How are you keeping this evening? And also in terms of the lineup, we've seen, I think it was Football London wrote an article earlier on that Pedro Porro, Radu Dragosin, Van de Ven, and Destiny Udogie all put something up on their social media, maybe hinting at that being the starting back line tonight. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Dragosin should definitely get a start. And I'm very well, thanks, Dave. I think he should get a start. I would start with quite a strong team tonight, Dave, and get the game over the line in the first half, and then make some changes at half time. That's what I would do. I didn't like it when he done that mix and match last time, and we really struggled. So we want to go far in this competition. So I would start with a strongest team. Maybe make 1 or 2 changes, but then if we get a nice lead, and then make some changes, then that's what I would personally do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does tonight with AZ Alkmaar being a step up an opponent. Be very interesting to see whether he sort of recognises that and maybe puts a bit of a stronger line out there, Jim. But you know, we have made changes, and we have beaten Coventry, we have beaten Ferencváros, we have beaten Karabag, and some people say don't get carried away. Look at the state of them teams, but you know, we've lost to NS Mora, you know, Pacos de Ferreira, and that in years gone by. So does it maybe allude to that we're starting to see a little bit more strength in depth or squad depth in general? That fact that we can make these changes and still get over the line.
Yeah, they've been hard games. When he's changed it up a bit, let's not kid ourselves. It's not like we've gone out and like battered them. They've all been. It's all games we could have lost, you know. So that's why I would say, right, we've rode our luck a bit. Start with a stronger squad. Maybe change one or two. Bring Jakusin in. Maybe bring Bergville in. You know, and more something like that. And then you know, start with first teamers in the rest of the places.
For me, first of all, Stephen, good to see you, sir. Hopefully, you know, Tottenham can get a good win under their belt tonight and make your day a hell of a lot better. Look, tough day at work. Sometimes the best thing to do is go home, get a shower, and then just forget about and enjoy your evening, sir. A nice dinner, you know, a nice kind of fizzy to go with it. Bob's your uncle. That's what I say there. But Jose, good to see you, first of all. Hopefully, you're keeping well, my man. But Stefan Bloy says it's pointless going strong at this stage, and I sort of understand that point of view. You've got Crystal Palace, and then you also have that cup game against Man City coming up, and you probably do want to rest some of your better players, you know, make sure they're fresh for them 2 games, right?
He's got a conundrum tonight, but he's got a conundrum from now till the end of December. Majority of the time, we're going to be playing 3 games a week. Now, I've always said that I felt that our squad was a bit on the thin side after the summer transfer window, and there's nothing we can do. We can't do nothing until the winter transfer window if we're going to put the numbers into the squad. Tonight, though, he's got a conundrum to make because you've got to shuffle the pack. You've got tonight, you've got Palace, you've got Man City, but then we've got a game at the weekend after that. It's like 4 games we're going to play in like a 10-day period. So at the end of the day, although rotation, yeah, Charles is saying rotation is key. It is key, but you can't change too much from what we've had in our last match. Now, I expect people like Richarlison, Bergville, Moore, Gray, possibly Odebert off the bench. Some of these players haven't had minutes recently to get some, and Dragusin, sorry, to get some minutes. I would have thought that maybe he might have gone in with Van der Ven, Doggy, Gray, and Dragusin at the back tonight. But from what I've been hearing from you guys and what I heard on other shows earlier, is that these people on their accounts have been putting down comments, and it looks like they might be playing tonight. So that means Gray will not feature in the back 4 if that's correct. In midfield, I think that Maddison may start tonight because he got hooked at half time on Saturday. So he may well start tonight, or may get the first half tonight. Who knows? I think Bergville might come into that midfield. The interesting one is who's going to play the deep line role. Will it be Bentancur and he rests Basuma, or may he bring Gray to play in his natural position tonight? I don't know. And then up for the forward 3, we know Sonny's out. Johnson probably deserves a bloody rest. He's done really well. Deserves a rest. Take him out of the way. And then when you're looking at that, it's, do you want to put Solanke in again? Do you want to give Solanke more minutes? It could be Solanke might start. It could be that he plays Richarlison out on the left, put Solanke down the middle, and I'd play Mikey Moore out on the right. I mean, he's got decisions to make, but we need to be mindful that what we get from the fan base is we never rotate. We don't give youngsters a chance. You get all this. Now, if he doesn't do it tonight, and I don't know, say the score went awry tonight, then people are going to give him the backlash for it. So he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. You know, we're all crying out for rotation now, right? As soon as we see the lineup, if the lineup's not what people want it to be, then they're going to say, bloody hell, why did he rotate? Or why did he not rotate? So at the end of the day, we've got to trust the gaffer in the side that he picks for tonight. He's going to do what he sees is best by Tottenham Hotspur, both for tonight and in the long run, meaning he's already thinking about Sunday's game with Palace, and he's already thinking of next Wednesday's game with Man City, and he's thinking of the game the week after against Villa. He's already thinking, and he's going to shuffle his pack accordingly, is what my belief is. So just get behind the manager, whoever he picks tonight. just get behind for the people that are at the stadium. Just get behind the team. Whoever he picks as his first 11, get behind the team tonight. Make that the difference. Make that the 12th man, and let's go and get these 3 points. For me, I've been looking at this league table malarkey, and obviously everyone gets to play through the third game tonight. But in the Champions League, they've already played their third games. And looking at the points table there, I think what I thought before the season started is I think 15 points gets you in and around the top 8. So win tonight, you're on 9 points with 5 games to play. Basically, you've got to find 2 more wins out of the last 5 games after winning tonight. So,
Oh no!
I want to qualify in the top 8.
Oh,
I do have the starting lineups here, so I am going to bring them up on screen for every.
Does that mean Forster's in goal then? If you're going like that,
correct.
Moment, guys.
That's exactly
so.
Right.
The lineups are on your screen, or they should be on your screen. I've got to bring them up here now. So the lineups are here. So it is Fraser Forrester returns tonight in goals. Archie Gray at right back. Dragison and Davies at centre back with Doji at left back. Midfield of Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison. And young Mikey Moore comes back in for another start tonight. Well deserved after his performance against Ferencváros. With Richarlison leading the line. Delighted to see him back out there, and Werner back in on the left-hand side. And Werner's an interesting one, given the reports that came out today about Werner, where Tottenham are okay for him to walk away from the club in January. So very interesting that he gets in the lineup tonight. On the bench is Vicario, Austin, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Sarr, Basuma, Kuliszewski, Odeberg, Johnson, Solanke, and Will Lancashire. So it is a strong enough lineup. Some maybe might have concerns across the back line. Fraser Forrester coming in today. I think it's a risky one, He didn't look too good against Coventry. He didn't look too sharp. His handling was all over the place. I worry about that tonight. Archie Gray at right back. He's going to need a massive evening tonight. I think the last 3 games he's played for us, Coventry, Karabag, Ferencváros, they've doubled up on him down that wing. And he's not very quick to react to it. And defensively, he's been caught out an awful lot. In possession, he's been brilliant. But tonight, I think he will be up against Van Bommel, who's a really, really good player. So he's going to have to deal with his battle tonight. Dragison coming in here. Interesting choice. Hopefully his agent pipes down a little bit now. I think someone needs to tell him there was minutes there available, but he's got to try not to get sent off after 8 minutes, and maybe he wouldn't have this problem that the agent keeps talking about. Maddison being brought in tonight. Be interesting. Big night for him, especially after being hauled off early against West Ham midweek. And then Richarlison coming back into the lineup tonight for his first start of the season. Be interesting to see if he can bag a couple of goals and make a go of this, and breed a bit of competition with Dom Solanke. And, of course, my boy, Mikey Moore back in the lineup, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. Kate, we'll go to you for your initial reaction.
Well, my initial reaction is, because Forster's in goal, and I can't even, there's no words. I'm pretty speechless. I mean, this guy to me is nowhere near good enough, but hopefully he won't be that busy. Disappointing in a way to see Gray at the back. I so want to see him in his preferred position in midfield, but I get it. Dragusin and Davis doesn't fill me with a huge amount of confidence. Sorry, Dave.
No, just quickly on Archie Gray. Do you think Spurs fans have to accept this season that he is going to be right back, especially in Europe, given that Jed Spence can't play right now?
Yeah, I mean, whether they're at Jed Spence, I think we can add him in January to the squad.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, whether we'll add him and then move Gray more to the midfield, I don't know, but I hope that's what happens. It's the whole back line with the keeper is a little bit nerve-wracking. The rest of it, I'm really excited to see Bentancur, Bergvall, Maddison all work together. And then always good to see more. Richie back, be interesting. And Werner always gives us something to talk about. So, do you know what? This team should be enough to beat them. But I just hope they don't look like a bunch of strangers, because we've seen when there's been a lot of changes, sometimes that we look a bit disjointed. So we'll see. I'm sure that if it's not working, Ange won't hesitate in making changes if needed. So we shall see. This is the whole point of rotation, right?
Well, look, as Jose says, Kate, you have to get behind him. You're not allowed to question Ange Postecoglou's selection. But, look, I think having the strong midfield there in terms of Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison is sort of key for tonight, because backline, I do think Alkmaar might have, the possibility to be able to open that up at times. So worry a little bit about that, especially with Grandad Forrester in goals. Going forward, I think Moore and Richarlison could definitely do something. Again, worry about Werner, especially with the news that's come out today, which we will get onto. But Jimbo, what's your initial reactions on the lineup? Interesting that there's no Papa Matasar, right? Especially off the back of his great performance against West Ham.
Yeah. Well, what worries me there, Dave, is that if they play a high line, I think we're going to make a few mistakes with a high line with that back four.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
Is Troy Parrott good enough to capitalise on that?
I'm a bit, I think they are. I think they are. I'm a bit despondent with it. I thought that I think he sometimes I don't know, makes too many changes and sometimes in the wrong places. But look, you're right. Who am I to question Ange? He's a manager for 28 years. I'm just some tosspot sitting on here talking to you. So
look, you're allowed to question Ange. Jose said you're not. It wasn't me.
But I don't know. I'm a little bit. I was going to do my scoreline with a nil, but I'm not now. I'm going to add some goals to it. So
Ben Davies has been good. Ben Davies has been good this season when he stepped in. And look, anyone that knows me and has been watching me on this channel a long time, it takes a lot for me to say that because I think he's been piss poor at Tottenham in general. But he's been good this season.
He's very experienced, Dave. He's got a lot of experience, so that counts for a lot. So but it's good to see Dragusin in and Gray. Bentancur's got experience as well. Maddison. No, it's lovely to see more in. Richarlison, so pleased to see him in. He deserves it. And Werner, let's see what he does. I'm not a Werner hater because anyone who scores over 100 goals in the Bundesliga, for me, can play football. If you're a mug, you don't score that many goals in the Bundesliga. So he knows how to play football. Let's just hope he can get it out there tonight.
No, 100%. Look, I think where many people are getting annoyed with Werner is, he's just blanks all the time. And I do think it comes to a point where Tottenham have to weigh up, is it damaged goods at this point? Are you really, the more you play him, are you really going to, help him find his confidence? I think not at this point. But Jimbo, I know you've been a huge sort of backer of Richarlison. Look, bringing in Dom Solanke has laid down competition for Richarlison. It's led a lot to speculation around his future at Tottenham Hotspur. Similar age. You wonder, will Tottenham carry both of them heading into next season with us still being linked to likes of Gyökeres, Liam Delap at Ipswich and stuff like that? Does he still have time to resurrect his Spurs career or, change fans' opinion on him in general?
Yeah, of course he does. Look, when he got a run last season, what did he score? 12 goals, 13 goals? So yeah, of course he can still have a place in this team, but it's the injuries. He needs to get them. We need to get them injuries out of him. But Ange did say that he's handling him differently now when he's injured, and he's going to take it more slowly, bringing him back, not rushing him back. So 100%, I like Richie. I think he brings a lot to this team, and he brings a lot that others don't with his toughness and getting stuck in and winding people up, winding our players up, gets the crowd going. So, yeah, for me, he definitely has a spot in this team.
Look, I think he's got a massive point to prove. I think, he can't just come back and, score here or there, with what's gone on from the last two seasons. He has to come back. He has to sort of find that purple patch that he found before he went out injured last season and sort of maintain it. And he's got a big job to do. But what I will say is, if we can get Richarlison and Solanke both firing, it would send us a long way in a lot of competition.
Yeah,
so I think, that's the point this season. So hopefully Richarlison could come out here, bag a couple of goals and start putting the pressure on Dom Solanke because, if you've got two strikers fighting it out, usually it leads to a good season. So hopefully that's the case. Jose, what's your initial thoughts on the lineup? Mikey Moore, of course, has been rewarded with another start after his starring performance against Ferencváros. And let's be honest, it was his directness that started the moves that led to the goals.
Just asking, how many Jose's were we referring to earlier? Because I wasn't the one that said that we can't challenge Postecoglou. I said
you said well, whoever he picks tonight, we have to get behind, and you shouldn't question it. You have to just trust it. That's what you said.
No, I said get behind the team, and that you need to trust that Ange Postecoglou will make the right decisions, and not just for this game, but for ones going forward. Now, back to your question, Dave. Now that we cleared that one up. To me, that team is strong enough to be a second-rate Dutch side that will be in front of us tonight, because the Dutch will make changes as well. Troy Parrott should not scare any defenders that are in that side at all. And to be quite honest, you've got seasoned internationals there. You've got Bentancur's there, Maddison's there, Richarlison's there, Werner's there. You've got seasoned internationals in there. So for me, I don't see no reason whatsoever why we can't go out and get a result. At the end of the day, like I said before on these pump-up shows for the European games, I'm not one of the fans. We all want to see the big 4, 5, 6-0 victories. But for me, I just look for the 3 points. I don't care what the result is. Just get the 3 points, move on, qualify in the top 8. It's good to see Richarlison get some minutes tonight. Richarlison will not last the whole game, right?
Yeah.
Because Postecoglou even said that from him coming back from his injury and he got a few minutes on, he got 10 minutes or whatever on Saturday, and he turned around and he said that Richarlison will be involved tonight, but I don't see him playing the whole 90 minutes. And
so
if
who comes
doing,
off the bench then? Solanke or Lancashire? Because there's 2 striker options there.
Yeah, if we're doing well, we got a 2-goal lead. I say Lancashire comes off the bench rather than Solanke. For me, you bring Lancashire off and you save Solanke. What we do want, we want minutes into Richarlison's leg, because what we do want is we do want to have an attacking force throughout the remainder of the season, because last year, as everyone well knows, we lost an injury up front last year and we had to plug holes again. So it's like putting your finger in the dam to try and block the flooding, But now we've got 3 nines, if you like, with Lancashire as well. We've got 3 nines we can choose from. Well, rotate them. I mean, obviously Richarlison can also play out on the left, but I don't want Richarlison to play out on the left to take away minutes from Mikey Moore. So, so at the end of the day, we, of course, like Jim said and you said earlier, what we want Richarlison to pick up speed. We want Richarlison to get back on form and stuff like that. So it means that we've got that attacking potency, whether in the starting 11 or off the bench, for the remainder of the season.
No, 100%. And look, competition in and around the squad can only breed, a consistency and winning ways for Tottenham Hotspur. That's where we want to get to. Everyone chomping at the bit, wanting these minutes. In years gone by, people sort of hid, and when the minutes came their way, they didn't produce. And, so far we've seen a little bit different this season in terms of they are starting to produce when they're playing, because some of them do want to sort of get into that first 11, and long may it continue. It's probably what's led to this run of consistent form that we're on. Kate, a lot of people, of course, very excited to see young Mikey Moore tonight. We always want to see one of our own. And look, I would say there's been a bit of a mentality shift towards some of these youngsters at Tottenham Hotspur, because I felt like last season, especially over the summer, I was maybe arguing with fans saying that we should be giving some of these guys minutes. And now fans are calling for these guys to get minutes. So we're starting to see a mentality shift in that. What is it about Mikey Moore that excites the Spurs fan base? Because many people are asking him to get Timo Werner's minutes. The kid's only 17. Werner's 28.
Do you know what I think it is with Moore? He plays like he would play if he was over the park. I think he plays without fear. He's confident for such a young kid. He doesn't look like he's sort of a rabbit in the headlights. He's got the confidence. And technically, from what I've seen from Moore, he's leagues better than Werner at the minute. I mean, Timo Werner, you don't become a bad player overnight, but I think he's so short of confidence. I'm not sure there's anything you can really do with him. So for me,
he hasn't been a bad player overnight, though. Okay, as he's been bad over time, over a long time.
I remember when he was at Chelsea, I constantly used to take the mickey out of him because he was always offside. So when we was linked with him, I nearly had a nervous breakdown. I thought it was a wind-up, to be fair. But yeah, I just think there's elements of his game sometimes that you look and you think, well, I don't want to, I'm not getting carried away. I'm not saying he's as good as Harry Kane, but there's times when he's done things and I'm like, wow, that's the sort of thing Kane would have done. And I just think it's the fact that he's come in at such a young age, made an impact, been a standout talent, and he just looks like he's got it. Don't ask me what it is, but he's got it. He's one of these guys you look and you go, this guy's going to be really, really good. So, like I say, for me, he's levels above Timo Werner at the minute. And I think that's why everybody wants to see more play. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him play tonight.
Hopefully we'll be singing chants of more, more, more. You know, that'd be absolutely brilliant. But look, I really like this kid. I think he's super talented. And do you know what? He's a man for his age at 17 years of age. Look at the size of the guy. But I think it's how direct he is, how quick he is, but also how devastating he is once he beats his man. You know, he provides the end product. And I think that's what excites a lot of Spurs fans, how direct he is with the end product. You know, he's got a good shot on him, but he can also play beautiful passes onto people. He's a very skillful player with a good passing range and a good shooting range. I think he's very, very exciting. And do you know what? Hopefully tonight at home is the night where he can really take off and announce himself as a Spurs player. You know, he played very well away against Ferencváros off the right and off the left towards the end of the game. Playing at home tonight, I'm sure he'll have that spine-tingling feeling. And you know what? It's a huge moment for the 17-year-old. You know, us Spurs fans get that spine-tingling feeling, you know, watching Tottenham in the lights in Europe, you know, that all-white kit. Mikey Moore is living every fan's dream tonight. And if he can bag one as a 17-year-old, I mean, it's only going to clamor more and more excitement around him. And I think the biggest thing I can say to him is just don't no pressure on you. Go out there and enjoy yourself. And I think if he does that, and I think that's partly why we're seeing the performances we are from him compared to other players, there's no pressure on him. He's just going out there enjoying himself. And if he can keep doing that, we've got a real, real special player on our hands there for sure. Jimbo, Lucas Bergvall, the Europa League is another one of our young guns. Probably hasn't gone the way that maybe he would have wanted it to. Of course, sacrifice when Dragoshin got injured, you know, physically upset on the bench. But, you know, didn't really play as well as he really would have liked against Ferencváros. How do you think he's going to fare tonight?
Well, I think he's probably had his confidence knocked a bit. Especially when we had the sending off and they brought him off. You could see he was really hurt. But look, Dave, no matter what you do in sports, whatever sports it is, right, you're going to come across hard times where you got to step up, and this is time to step up, you know, and show, look, I'm a good player, and this is why Spurs bought me, and show us what he can do. You know, if you can't let moments like that, you know, set you back too much. You know, he was disappointed, 100% he was. But then when he gets his next chance, like tonight, he's got to step up and show us what he can do.
No, 100% he has to step up tonight and show us what he can do. Do you think having maybe more experienced players in around him like Bentancur and Maddison, who are sort of match sharp, will actually help him to a large degree?
1,000,000%, Dave, 1,000,000%. This is what I said at the beginning, that I didn't want to see too many changes. And he's done a few changes, and he's done quite a few. But there's a good mixture there, I think.
From the lineup from West Ham, Jim.
Say it again.
He must be scared tonight. You think he's made 9 changes from the starting lineup from West Ham? He must be scared tonight.
There's a good mixture there, Dave. You know, he's got a lot of experience in there as well. You know, so even Forster, look, I see a load of people in the chat moaning about him, and Kate put her hands over her face. But look, the guy's got a lot of experience. He was a really, really good keeper. And maybe
was.
Yeah, but maybe just had an off day, Kate. People do have off days.
No,
So
he's not very good. I mean, I would have to disagree with you, Jimbo. I know you're being positive, but I don't think there's enough of a mixture there. I think there's too much. There's not enough first team experience there for me to even it out. I think there's too many changes in that respect.
Well, you've got Davis, you've got Bentancur, you've got Maddison, and you've got Richarlison, and you've got Werner. They've not been
playing much this year. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's still a lot of experience in there, Kate. You know, there is. No matter what way you look at it, there's a lot of Premiership experience in there. So let's just hope that the youngsters can step up and show us what they can do. And I see a lot of people in the chat writing about Moore as well.
Some people are saying stop overhyping him to me, Jimbo, saying that he hasn't done anything yet. Maybe fair comment to make.
It is a fair comment to make, but what we've seen of him, you can see he's going to be a special player. You know,
we're fans. We're supposed to overhype. That's what we do.
And the only way we're going to really see the only way we're going to really see what he can do, Dave, is by starting him. It's no good. See, when you give young players 10, 15 minutes cameo, that's okay, but they're never going to get into a game and show us what they can do. They need to start games. You know, if they start, at least you can take them off if they're not performing.
No, 100%. And look, I think he earned it against Ferencváros. I think people go back and look at his performance. You know, skinned his man every opportunity. He played some delicious outside of the boot balls, curling balls from the instep. I think he showed it, and had a couple of shots. I think he showed a lot of his talents in that game. And I think, the hype is real about him. You look at what he produces for England underage. You look at what he produced for the academy in his time there. I think, I think the hype is justified, to be brutally honest. Not every 17-year-old gets to play in a European game, so there has to be something there, in my opinion. But down to you, Jose. Go on.
The thing is someone just putting pressure on him. It's not putting pressure on him, not at all. He's a grounded kid. If you've watched his interviews, he's so grounded. He is the type of kid that will just go out there and do his football. And do his best. It's not going to put pressure on him, not at all.
And to be fair, number one, I don't think he's probably watching, unfortunately. And number two, I've heard Arsenal fans, amongst others, really praising Moore this year, saying, wow, this kid looks really good. So why can't we praise him? Everyone's so sensitive. I think we should be able to praise him. I think he looks good. And, if I'm wrong, oh well. But I'm hopeful this kid is the real deal.
I think he's one you can look at and say he's definitely got a chance of making at Tottenham Hotspur as a Premier League player. It's just, look, of course, 17, he's a long way to go, providing there's, touch wood, no injuries over, the next couple of years, long-term injuries especially, and stuff like that, and he continues to get minutes. I think that's the right way forward for the kid. In terms of pressure, look, I'm a fan. First of all, I agree with Kate. He's definitely not going to listen to what I have to say. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, he's already in a pressured environment. There's pressure on him to sort of, take these minutes and stuff like that. So, what I say isn't going to add any more to it. That's for sure. Any more pressure than what he's going to put on himself, or maybe his parents have on him, or others around him. What I put on him is not going to be anywhere near that. In fact, I'm hyping him. I'm really excited about him. A lot of people said, a lot of these youngsters aren't good enough to get into the team. Now they are. Now they're saying, calm down, don't overhype them and stuff like that. But Jose, down to you. Timo Werner speculation did come out about just before kickoff today, saying that Tottenham would be happy to let him go in January. Personally, I think it would be the right move to say to Timo Werner, there's going to be no football here for you. You're going to be taken out of the European squad. It's in your best interest to look for another club and get someone like Jed Spence registered so we can rest more of our defensive players, because there's only so long we can keep playing the likes of Adoji, Van de Vens and Romero's in these sort of games before one of them pull up for being overused. Would you be able to let Werner go in January? Do you think it's the right move for the club to do?
Where we stand, when you're asking me this question today on the 24th of October, I'm going to say yes. But in the next 2 months, though, if Werner starts pulling his socks up and starts scoring goals and getting loads of assists, then people are going to start thinking to themselves another thing. Nah, in all honesty, we've had Werner for a season and a bit now, and at the end of the day, I've not moaned about him or anything at all. I was a bit gutted that we'd re-signed him. But once he's been re-signed, he becomes a Tottenham player, and you've got to back the players regardless. But again, the other but for this is you've got people like Mikey Moore coming through. You've got people like Odegaard. You don't need Werner. You've got these people, give them their pathway, and therefore you don't need Werner there. If Werner's taking up a spot, which he is, and it's stopping someone else's path, then so be it. Yeah, it's a good call. If he goes, then that means, and we've qualified for the next round, it means that in January we can switch the squad up a bit again for Europe. Then you would like to bring a Spence in, or whoever in, and to replace him. So it'd be good. It would be good for him to move on. I think that the manager has seen enough of him in order for Tottenham to make this decision, because it wouldn't have come from Tottenham Hotspur. This would have been the directive from the manager and the coaching staff, and then Tottenham then release a statement on it, or something's been done. So, at the end of the day, what we can all see is what Ange and the coaching team can see, and that's that he really is, and he isn't the player that we need moving forward. And I didn't know about this until you said it earlier on the show. I didn't even know this news had broke, and I've had to look on X to find it because I didn't realise. But yeah, for me, what I'd say is that Yeah, it's a good call to make. Let him go. Open the pathway for other players that can probably provide you more. And on the Mikey Moore thing, what I'd like to say is Mikey Moore gives me Wayne Rooney vibes.
Oh,
He
wow.
won't score. He doesn't score goals.
You're going to
like
get lambasted
Wayne
in the comments for that one.
I don't care. I don't care. Right. At the end of the day, Wayne Rooney came and Wayne Rooney played football off the cuff, street football, cage football, whatever you want to call it. And Mikey Moore gives me the vibes of a street footballer or a cage footballer that plays off the cuff. Yeah, he's being taught tactics and stuff like that because he's at professional level now. But he just plays off the cuff. And to me, he plays street football the same way as what's his name? Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham played street football and cage football. Musiala, street football, cage football. Yamal, street. You got these youngsters that have come through. They haven't come through and played pretty football to get where they are. They've all started playing football out on the streets, cage football. It's how they've learnt their craft before going to clubs. And at the end of the day, for me, I would say, yeah, Mikey Moore has got. I'm hoping he has a long, great career at Tottenham and that he becomes a player, a one-man club, so to speak. I want him to stay at Tottenham because I think this kid's got loads and loads and loads and loads to give. I really do.
100%. And I wonder with the emergence of the likes of Mikey Moore, has that maybe swayed their decision to put pressure on someone like Timo Werner to say, look, go and find yourself another club in January because they're confident maybe in the kid's ability. But I do think it's the right thing for the club to do in January. I think when you've got someone like Jed Spence sitting on the peripheries who's actually contributing, and some would argue probably saved Postecoglou's job, not getting the minutes, and then you're getting someone like Timo Werner on 185k who doesn't contribute, is getting the minutes. I think it can only go so long before it sort of starts causing rifts between players and in the squad and stuff like that. But also, if we want to set a precedent going forward that you come to Tottenham, you've got a year, maybe 16 months max to make it work, or you're out the door. Because if we don't do that, we'll very quickly fall into the slump that we've been in the last 4 or 5 years, where you end up with a load of players on big wages, not pulling their weight, making a lot of excuses. You look at Man City, brought in Calvin Phillips, didn't do the job, out you go again. And I think, Tottenham need to be a lot more ruthless in that if we want to keep a competitive squad going forward. And having that competitive squad usually brings trophies with it. So I think it is the right decision. Although on a human level, I feel for someone like Timo Werner, it's not easy to keep getting put out there. You see anytime he's coming on the bench, he doesn't look confident. He's looking down. You can see it in him. For me, it's damaged goods. I don't think even one goal is going to set this guy on fire on a run. I think, he's just damaged goods at this point. But I feel for him on a human level. But I think at the end of the day, I love Tottenham Hotspur. I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and I love that more. And I think it's the right thing to do for the club going forward. And I think the right message to send out going forward. And then leaves us options to be able to maybe bring in a left back, which will actually help someone like Destiny Edozie, getting good cover in there. Kate,
I just remember on a show with you, on a pump-up show that we did on your channel about 3 weeks ago. It was a league game, and we were speaking after the European match had finished, so the second game we had played. And I remember saying on your show that for me, Werner will probably start the game. Whoever we were playing that weekend, I said Werner will probably start. But with the Mikey Moore's appearances in Europe and what he's done, and the minutes that he's got, I think he's closed the gap with Werner in the sense that we can't automatically say Werner's going to get in because Son's injured. And I remember saying that about 3 weeks ago. So in actually saying that, and now reading the news today that they're prepared to let Werner go, then 3 weeks ago I weren't too far from it. So
no, 100%, not too far wrong from it at all. But look, of course, why that's out there. If I'm Mikey Moore, if I can keep taking my minutes, I'm absolutely rubbing my hand. It opens the pathway and the door for him going further. I do think it was a missed opportunity not to bring him off the bench in the 4-1 win at West Ham. You're not really going to get a better occasion to introduce him to that environment. The game was feisty as well, so you get to see how he would handle himself. I think it was a real missed opportunity there, and I do think it's coming to the point where he's blocking up the pathway for players at this point, especially with what he's producing. Sounds harsh, I know, but I just want Tottenham to move forward and win trophies at the end of the day. But Kate, the bookies have us as favourites to win this competition. I think the big question for Spurs fans was, can we make rotations in games and still put points on the board? And so far, there's a bit of evidence to say that we can. Do you still hold as much confidence, or if you were confident, are you still confident, or even more confident now that Tottenham can go on and really go deep in this competition, take it seriously, and look to win it?
I mean, for me, I think if we're going to go out for a trophy, this is probably, it's not an easy one, but of the three, I think this is the one we've got the most chance in. There are some good teams still in it. You've got Man United who on their day, that Ten Hag still knows how to win a trophy. You've got Roma. There's some good teams in it. I think I don't want to say too much because it's all depends on injuries for me. A lot of it depends on whether we keep our squad fit. Because if we get injuries and the sort of fringe players start playing in the Premier League, you'll find that we take the Europa League less seriously. We've seen it before. But if we can keep the momentum going, I don't see why we can't go deep into this competition. We shouldn't be fearing anyone. I think on our day, we can beat any team that is in this competition. So we just need to go out there and play our way of playing and hope for the best. I just hope that, and if we do take a 2-0 lead against this team or a better team, that maybe tightens it up a little bit so we don't get the likes of what happened at Brighton happening again. But do you know what? I wouldn't be a fan if I said no, we've got no chance of winning it, would I? So yeah, why not? We've got a great history of European football in Tottenham's history. Why not bring it back?
No, 100%. It'd be absolutely nice. And look, I think we'll get out of the groups regardless, one way or another. Obviously, I'd like to come out top 8. I think knockouts, then it's anybody's. I've been here before when it was the old UEFA Cup. You're going into teams in the knockouts and you'll beat them, and you've been caught cold. You don't really see it coming. So I think it's a discussion that I think we'll definitely have further on. Once we get out of this group. By the way, anyone that was looking, Jose does have pink on his t-shirt. I was worried there for a minute, Jose, when you stood up. I didn't really, I thought. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, so some people thought you were topless there, Jose. Thought you were getting too excited before the game going on there. But guys, James Maddison is an interesting one, actually, Jimbo. Look, got hauled off against West Ham at halftime. I don't personally think it was down to him playing bad. I think it was more of a tactical decision. And obviously, I think it was right to do because James Maddison didn't muck in against Brighton when the game was going the other way. So I think it was a smart decision to do. And I think it's going to keep happening until he learns. What sort of performance do you think we're going to get from Maddison? Because he was very angry on the bench.
Yeah, I said on mine and Kate's stream that I didn't think he had a bad first half, Dave. When he got brought off, I think it was definitely tactical. He had an assist as well. So yeah, we expect him to step up. I mean, we know he can play the game and he's a good player, and he should be the one on there, like taking control. So I expect a big game from him tonight, and against this team, he should be able to do that. Let's be honest. But I think he gets a lot of unnecessary stick off of some fans.
Why, Jimbo?
Since he's been with us, he's had a lot of good games, and I think that injury set him back a bit. So I think he's been good this season, apart from obviously the second half of the Brighton game, but it wasn't just him; there was the whole team. So I expect a big game from him tonight for sure.
Dave, can I just interject there and say that we've been debating all week on my channel as to whether Maddison's been a flop, and I've been arguing my case, which is that I think he has. For 45 million, I think he's been a flop at Spurs. But not many people really agree with me. But I just think that he came in those first 10 games and showed us what he could do, and he's never, for me, got back to that. So,
do you know, the injury set him back, Kate? You've got to take that into consideration. It's not an excuse, Kate. He had a bad injury and it set him back, and it took him a while to get back into it. And I just think to myself that he's run a lot of games for us, and he's been influential in a lot of games. So I still think he's got a massive place in this team.
Do you know what? I think when I look at Maddison, I do understand Kate's point of view. I think maybe it's too soon to maybe call him a flop. I don't think he's been like Lo Celso level where he hasn't contributed at all. He has contributed in games to somewhat. I do agree with Jim. But I do think he's been underwhelming in terms of the player that maybe we thought we were signing when he came in here. Look, I think with James Maddison, I think he's struggling to maybe adapt to the system. At Leicester, he's used to playing that solo sort of cam role, that solo number 10 role. And everyone else, because he was a big dog in or what they call a big fish in a small pond, everyone else sort of done his defensive duties for him. Whereas at Tottenham Hotspur, with the step up at Tottenham Hotspur, especially in this midfield role, although we play two number 10s, they're expected to muck back and help defensively. And James Maddison hasn't adapted that to his game, and I don't think he's shown enough at Tottenham Hotspur where you can give him that license to maybe allow him not to track back. I think the only one that really gets that pass when he plays is Son, if you want to keep his energy in the bigger games, for when he's on the football, so he can go and make that difference. He's the only one at Tottenham that's earned that right. Everybody else has to muck in, and I do think James Maddison is struggling to adjust to that. Also, every time he gets fouled, we have to have a stop and play for 5 minutes. I'm fed up with it. It's going to keep happening to you unless you learn to get up, take the pain, and move on and show that it doesn't care. That's another thing that bugs me. I think he slows down the game an awful lot when he gets tackled, but also when he gets the ball. When you look at Kulusevski, why he's working in the middle, he's so quick, he's so direct. Why fans are calling for Mikey Moore off the right to come in, because he's so quick, he's so direct. Look, when you get him to push up in the final third and look to turn the ball over there, he works hard, but he doesn't want to go backwards. We've seen that against Brighton, and that's why ultimately he was hauled off and not Kulusevski. And you have to ask why, considering James Maddison has played that position all his career and Kulusevski hasn't. So I do think James Maddison has work to do at Tottenham Hotspur, quite frankly. I think, he has been underwhelming, and since he's moved to Tottenham, he's come out the England team, which probably reflects that. Some would say it's harsh, but I'm only saying that because I do think James Maddison has another level to go to in terms of being able to dictate games, get himself involved on the score sheet a lot more. But also, as a leader on the football pitch, I think there's a lot more to come from James Maddison. But how do we get it out of him? I'm not sure he's having Postecoglou, quite frank, and I don't think Postecoglou's having him. Postecoglou always takes him off early. He sacrificed him at halftime against West Ham, and he was out of the team towards the end of last season. So I think there is conversations to be had around that. What's your thoughts, Jose?
He definitely should have come off against West Ham, because if you look at it on a tactical point of view, attacking wise, Maddison ain't a problem at all. And obviously playing with Decky and the new system that we're playing with them two, they're finding space. And obviously I'm defenders, two fullbacks are not inverting, so therefore the space is there for Maddison and Kulu. However, when we're on the defence or when we get turned over, where Kulu can get back, Maddison doesn't get back. Maddison hasn't, well, he's a professional, he's a clever guy. He hasn't got the defensive side of it yet to a T. And the holes that could be found on Saturday against West Ham, and they were probably there against Brighton as well, but the holes, if you look at it, the holes are always behind the side that Maddison was on when they were in transition on us. And therefore that needed to be plugged, and rightfully he was taken off because he was causing that issue. Or they were finding that issue on Maddison's side, but not on Kulu's. Quite probably some of that should have happened when Brighton scored their first goal to make it 2-1, because they scored their second and third goals 10 minutes and 13 minutes after their first goal. And maybe we should have had Ange done something like that as well in that game, then tactically we may have stopped Brighton from getting the next two goals. Maddison for me at Leicester was the main man, right? It weren't Vardy, it was Maddison. Maddison was the main man there when he was there. And now Maddison's come to play for Tottenham. Maddison's not the main man at Tottenham. He wasn't last season, and he's not this season. There's other players that can challenge for top billing at Tottenham. It's a bigger club, no disrespect. It's a bigger club, and there's a lot of players that can challenge for top billing. And therefore, if Maddison wants to rise to the fore and be the governor, so to speak, then he's got to put in more performances or better performances on a more consistent basis than what he has done so already. But that doesn't make him a bad player overnight. At the end of the day, it doesn't make him a bad player overnight. But the thing is, I think people are starting to see that Ange is ruthless. Ange doesn't suffer fools gladly. If Ange doesn't think you're doing it, you ain't playing. You're going to be hooked, or you won't be starting. And, people need to understand that Ange, at the end of the day, everyone keeps saying he's a soft touch, he's this, that, and the other. He's anything but. And, at the end of the day, the onus should be on Maddison to pick up. Maddison's still got time for me. I'm hoping that Maddison has a really good game tonight, and he's captaining the team tonight. And I hope that he leads by example tonight. It starts with tonight, leads by example. There's no point in him stropping. If he's stropping about being taken off and all that, then he's got no career at Tottenham at all. because no one's going to have time for that at the club. At the end of the day, what you want is someone. As I said, he didn't play badly in the sense of his attacking position and stuff like that. He didn't play badly because of that. It was a transition, and his defensive position wasn't quite right. So at the end of the day, hopefully he's got coaches, and he also has Ange there, and hopefully they'll coach him how to get that side of his game right as well. But if he's not going to be on it, then he will be. He's not unplayable, is he? He can be dropped at any stage. So it's the onus is on
100%.
him. The onus is on him to buck it up.
No, 100%. And look, no better way to answer your critics tonight by going out and leading the club to victory. A couple of assists, couple of goals, and a stellar performance. So hopefully we see that from James Maddison. But unfortunately, we are coming to the end of the show. Your boy has his own watch along to do, and I cannot wait to get over, chill out, and watch the game tonight and hopefully see a big win. But before we do, I'm going to go around the houses. There's well over 1,000 in-house tonight watching. So thank you very much to everybody tuning in. Really appreciate that. But what we want you to do is get across to the various channels and show them love. You know, smash that subscribe button. They give up their time, free time, to be able to do this. So I think it's only fair, if you enjoy the contribution, to get over there and show them some love. So Kate, Jimbo, I'm putting your link here in the chat. People, make sure you get over there and smash the subscribe button. Let's get your score predictions.
Oh, well, I was going to change because I've been saying 3-1, but I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to say 3-1 to Tottenham. I'm going to do Richarlison to get one. I think we're going 1-1, and then I'm going to have Kulusevski to score 2 coming off the bench.
Oh, interesting. I am hoping not to see the likes of Kulu tonight. That'll be an added bonus for me. Jimbo, what's your score prediction, my man?
Well, I had my goal scorers all picked, but I'm going to change it. I was going to do 4-0, but I'm going to do 4-2. I think that we'll leak a couple of goals with the back five. So I'm going to go 4-2, and I wasn't going to put Maddison in my goal scorers, but I'm going to show Maddison some love because I think that he's been a really good player for us, and his goals and assists for us is very, very good if people look it up. So I'm backing Maddison 100%. So tonight I'm going to have Richarlison to score. I'm going to put Werner in to score, and I'm going to put Moore in to score, and I'm going to put Maddison in to score.
Nice. Absolutely love it. So guys, please get over, check out The Perfect Match, which is Kate and Jim's channel. Absolute great contributors to this community and always a positive influence. So please get across there and show them some love. Up to you, Jose. What's your score prediction tonight, my man?
Like I said earlier, I'll take a 1-0, just as long as it's 3 points. I'll take a 1-0. I mean, I had scores running through my head before I saw the lineup, and before I knew what AZ are coming in tonight unchanged from the weekend. So they've got the exact same lineup they lost to PSV 2-1 at the weekend. So they've come in strong. They haven't rested players. I expected them to rest players because obviously there's only 4 spots up. Your top 4 in their league qualify for Europe again next season, and they're sitting just outside the top 4 at the moment. So I thought their eggs would have been in that basket for the league, but obviously not because they've come out with a strong side. So, mate, I would take equally. I'd like to win 1-0 as I would like to win 6-0. I just want to get a victory. But if you're asking me, I'm going to say if we can be 2-0 up and then unload the bench, so to speak, and give other players from the bench like Lancashire and some of these other boys a chance, I'm going to say 2-0 and then unload the bench 4-0. And for goal scorers, I'm going to go. Although I really do want Maddison to score, he needs to score in league games for me, not in Europe, because I've got him in some competition I'm playing in, but it's only league. So for tonight, I want Mikey Moore and Richarlison to get on the score sheet and then unload the bench. And when you unload the bench, I want Mikey Moore to score another one, but I also want Will Lancashire to score as well.
Well, look, hopefully that is the case. Be absolutely brilliant. Guys, please get over, check out Jose's channel, El Tal Cockerel, another positive influence and great contributor to the Spurs community. So make sure you get across and check that out. For me, my score prediction, look, personally, I would love it to be a 4 or 5-1 personally, but I do think it's going to be a bit tougher tonight than what it has been in recent weeks. But you know what? Going to go 4-0 Tottenham. I'm going to back Ben Davies to have a good game with Radu Dragusin. Mikey Moore to maybe bag one tonight, I think will be special. Richarlison to bag 1 or 2 tonight, and Maddison to turn up as well. And I'm expecting a big performance from Bergvall. So, but guys, if you've enjoyed my contribution as well, please get over to my channel. The link is here, the Irish Hotspur. Smash the subscribe button and really appreciate all the support. But guys, that's it from us. Make sure you stay tuned for the watch long that's coming up on the channel. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.